Land use ordinances is a regulating tool. And then in addition to that, I keep bringing up the issue of moratoriums. So towns do have tools in their toolkit, in essence, to regulate. So if you could just comment in addition to Representative Welch's question.
Well, good morning, everybody. Jeff Austin, Maine Municipal Association. There's sort of, municipal regulations have two natures. One is home rule, which is we don't need permission or authority. It is sort of reserved to us through your silence. The other kind of municipal regulation is permissive, in which case you tell us what our authority is and you put the borders on it. So a moratorium is not a home rule issue. That's a statutory issue. You've told us that we may do it. You tell us for how long we may do it and what we have to do in the interim. And so this issue is bouncing back and forth between, is it a home rule issue, in which case we don't need permission or guidance from the legislature, or is it a regulated issue where we're going to tell the towns what to do? Here's my limited 2 cents on this issue, and Mr. Fisk has been in constant contact with me on this, thinking about delegation. Out of the gate, delegation on this issue is not a non-starter. It begins with the premise that we're going to curb home rule, and then from there make this a regulated, permissive activity for us to take on rather than a home rule. It's not a non-starter for us. So what Mr. Fisk has put forward is a step we can look at. Our concern then is how micromanaged is the permission. From what I can tell, a bit from the back bench on this issue is that, to use a golf analogy on this nice sunny Friday, is that there's fringe on the right and there's fringe on the left. And the issues have vacillated between what you're talking about. And the fringe on the right is industry should be able to do what they want with limited or no regulation, tell the towns not to do anything, put pressure on the DEP not to do much, and let us just go and do what we want to do. The fringe on the left is corporations aren't persons, the state should grab ownership of every drop of water, and all the rest of it. I think a process that says, can we get to a point where we stay in the fairway? There's no fringe on the right and there's no fringe on the left. And if we have to curb home rule as a way to have a functioning, coherent, rational regulatory environment for this thing, I think we're willing to look at it. But we want our fairway, where we can adopt standards, to be fairly broad. We don't want it to be a little limited fairway. We're willing to give up home rule in order to get rid of the issues on the right and the left, I think, is where our members are. They don't want to stop Poland Spring, but they don't want to lie down for them either.
So do you agree with this amendment then?
I think it's got elements that, it's a fairway that is hourglass. It's wide, it's open, it's wide, it's open. So there's a lot of different elements of regulating a water extraction. So can we make this fairway? I'm starting to sound like Andy Fisk, aren't I? I think we're willing to sit down and say, we are willing to put home rule on the table to keep it in the fairway, but we want it to be a broad enough fairway. I'm not intelligent enough to say that the bill does it right now. I need input from our guys. This isn't the original bill. So I'd need some help from our members on this. And so we're willing to keep talking. I don't have anything to do with it. It's a big water hazard.
Yeah. Just one more thing that's not a question, but rather a comment that I talked to my person in my district who represents Aqua Maine, our municipal water supplier, and he thought that this was on the right track. Well, even though it's not necessarily necessary, that it could help when a town has enough interest to try to manage the resource appropriately. So he thought it was a good idea, so, for all that's worth.